Hey YouTube, Mark here. As you can see, I got my tank. It actually has been a bit of a process. This is part 3 of a leaky gas tank. I was hoping I was going to be able to do it in 2 episodes. Well, actually I was hoping to do it in 1 episode, but everything that's been going on, I'm trying to keep you guys up to date. And over the past few weeks, I've had a few things going on. One of the things was back when the tank was originally welded and I put on the 2 hoses that are on the back of the tank, the one farthest back, the blue stripe hose, I was having a hard time getting that off when I originally taken the tank off, not back when I was putting everything back together. In order to get it off, I took a flat-headed screwdriver and I was kind of pushing down on the top of it and pulling on the hose at the same time. Well, I didn't know it, but I kind of split the hose right towards the top. And then when I went to go put this on after that first welding job, I was pushing that hose on, I could see it splitting. Now the split stopped just before the end of the connector hose, you know, the little connector tube down there. It's kind of got that flared area. So it was above that. And I think once I got the hose clamp on, it would have been fine. But I decided that I wasn't going to do that. Just going to take that hose off. And I actually ordered a new hose. This just came in. I at least got this now to replace the one that's got the split. It did take Don probably about a good week and a half before he was able to come and pick up the tank again. You know, I was expecting, you know, just a day or 2 later he'd be calling me up saying, okay, I already got it done, you know. But he ended up keeping it for almost a week. And the reason for that is he wanted to pressure test it. That was the flaw that we didn't do in the first job, and we should have, and that's why it kind of bit us in the ass on why we had to go through and re-weld stuff. So he actually put rubbing alcohol. I think it was like a 91% rubbing alcohol, dumped it in the tank, and he actually just let it sit in there for a couple of days. Basically, he says that rubbing alcohol has a smaller molecular construction than gas. If there's a spot where that alcohol comes out, you know, it was still a leak, he would seal it up. And everything was fine. But then he pressurized it with air. And he left that sit for a couple of days. And the pressure never went down. So the tank is now sealed completely. So that's a great thing there. I tell you, it's been a process, it really has. I'll get you guys closer and I'll show you exactly how everything worked out. The finished welds are pretty much all buried under Bondo now. Basically what he originally did was this mounting bracket came all the way up here and he sealed the mounting bracket completely around. In the process of doing that, he blew a small hole over here. He did fill it up, but he left a small crack in there that we just didn't see. He ran a bead up a secondary plate that came way up here, came across, and then down this way. Now he did go up this side of it, and he did a small bead down here in this corner of it, but he left the rest of it exposed. He didn't think it was going to be an issue. And I didn't know it was going to be an issue either. He thought it was going to be fine. I thought it was going to be fine, so no big deal. But once I put the gas in it, that's where it started leaking, was up here around that secondary plate. And then we also found out that there was that small crack here. Okay, again, no big deal. So the second time when he went to go weld, the metal here was so thin that he ended up just cutting out, I think he said about a 2-inch section, which would basically be almost across the entire width of it, put in a new piece of metal and welded that in place. And then he ended up covering it with the Bondo. This here is a heat resistant caulking, I guess. And the reason he did that is because all the heat generated was affecting this little heat shield here, and it was fraying and stuff like that. So he kind of used it to get the fibers of this heat shield to lay down again, because it was all like stringy and things were sticking out and whatnot. It just didn't look good. So that kind of gets you caught up on what's been going on. Actually, before I got the tank back, I was sitting there thinking about how I painted it. And it was fine, you know, and I would have left it as it was if it didn't leak. But now that it did leak, I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually order a color match system. In fact, I've already ordered it. I'm hoping it'll be here probably in the next 2 to 3 days. But for you guys, it'll be instantaneous because I want to try to keep this all in the same video. But I want to tell you that I did order this color match system through, I think it was called Color Right. I think that was the name of the website. I'll put it down here if I'm wrong, but I think it's called Color Right. Got 10% off, so it was right around $100 that I spent for this. But that's everything that I'm going to need. That's going to be the primer coat, base coat, candy color, clear coat. And then I think they also have some other stuff thrown into the kit. Things like latex gloves and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's on its way. And like I said, hopefully I'll get it here in a couple of days. But that's no difference to you guys because, like I said, you're going to see it instantaneous. So as soon as I shut this off, more than likely the paint's going to be here and we can start painting this thing. I really don't want to do any sanding right now because I don't want the bare metal to be exposed to the air. There's a little bit here and there, and that's fine. I don't care. It's going to get sanded down. But if I do all the sanding now and expose that metal, well, then that's metal's being exposed to the air for a few days before the paint actually gets here. So I'd rather do all the sanding and stuff after it gets here. That way I don't have to worry about rusting and stuff like that. So that kind of gets you caught up, and I will see you guys in a couple of days when the paint actually gets here. It has been 4 days, I think, since I did that last recording, and my paint has finally arrived, so I want to just open this up. I've got company coming soon, and I want to get this filmed before they show up, so I just want to show you what's in this paint kit that I bought. Right on the top is some gloves, it looks like. There's a couple other things in this little bag, so let's open it up and find out what's in here. A couple of gloves, just like literally 2 gloves. Wax and grease remover, looks like a wipe of some sort. Oh, just directions on how to actually use the product. Might actually read through this so I can do it. I've been watching videos online, so I've got a strong sense of how to do it. It's just actually the process of doing it. Alright, got a bunch of paper in here. Okay, so I think since it's got the red on the cap, this must be my red color, and that's my primer. Actually, it says primer right there. Now this here, it actually said waterborne. I don't know what that means. And then, yeah, this says waterborne again. I have no idea. Apparently they gave me 2 bottles of red. I mean, they're different. If you look at the caps, you know, this one looks darker than this one. So I'm wondering if this is my base coat, because it looks like there's like some sort of a metallic shimmer to it that this one doesn't have. Yeah, okay. Right here on the can, there's a little sticker on there, and it actually says base coat on that little sticker, where this one, I can barely read the sticker, but it says base coat required. So yeah, this is my top coat, and this is my base coat. Which means that this last one is my clear coat. Yep, clear coat written right there in the can. So yeah, that's what I got. Alright, so now the next step is to do a little sanding. I don't think I'm going to bore you with that. You saw it on my last video, and yeah, I just don't think I need to show you again, but I will show you the end result of when I get the tank actually sanded down and where I'm starting the painting process at, okay? Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you just in a couple of seconds. but for me it's probably going to be more like a couple of days. Okay guys, it's been about a day or so since my last recording, and I got all the sanding done, at least all the sanding I'm going to do. Here's what I've got so far. Now this discoloration you see right here, that's just when I sprayed it down with the wax and grease remover. Some of that original clear coat red that I put on there actually liquefied and was stripped off by it, and so it kind of stained the little bit of Bondo that I got going on right here. It's not a perfect sanding right through here. I can feel a little bit of a ridge right down in this area, but again, under the seat, don't really care. Okay, so my next step is just to start taping off the tank and getting it ready for that first coat of primer. I know I'm not showing you guys everything because in that last video when I thought everything was going to be done, I showed you the sanding and I showed you how I taped it off and all that. This time I'm just going to give you updates, so that's what I did, you know, and that's what I'm going to do next. So that's all this video is going to be until we start getting the tank back on. Alright everyone, the time has come. I got it all masked off. This is just a paper shopping bag is all it is. You might want to try plastic. I don't know if the paint will actually leak through or not. But yeah. So here's my masking job. So, first coat, primer. Okay, first coat of primer is on, and I tell you, this stuff dries fast. Apply 1 to 3 coats to achieve full coverage and allow dry 5 to 10 minutes between coats. So, but I tell you, I sprayed this stuff on and the surface went dry within 30 seconds. But yeah, so I gotta wait another couple of minutes before I apply coat number 2. Alright, coat number 2 of the primer is on. I am seeing that it is filling up these small cracks a wee little bit. But yeah, it's good enough for me. Okay, my last primer coat is on. Again, it's not perfect, but I mean, it really did a good job. I'm pretty impressed. Alright, now I gotta wait for, I think the can said 30 to 60 minutes, or is it 60 to 90 minutes? Anyway, I'm going to wait at least an hour for this to set up before I actually put on my base coat. Okay guys, time to put on my base coat. It's, I think it's only been like 45 minutes. It's been longer than the half hour, but not up to the full hour, so I should be good. Alright, so there we go. First shot of the base coat. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this paint. This touch-up direct, really good. I'm liking it. It comes out of the cans very well. Wow, it's just really amazing stuff. So I'm going to do 3 coats of this, and then I'm going to wait another hour, and then we'll start putting on the candy. What is it? The triple cardinal red candy coat. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, so I gotta have a red base coat on to go with that other red top coat. Alright, so 2 more sprays of this. Let's keep going. Okay, coat number 2 is on. Something I learned about these touch-up direct spray cans, at least on the base coat here, the nozzle here, I can actually pivot that. So right now it's going like this, and I can change it to where it's up and down or at an angle or something. So that's kind of cool that you can change that spray orientation. Alright, this is my 3rd and final of the base coat. Got a little bit heavy on the can. You can see a little drip right down in there. Okay, now the base coat can says right down here that I only need to wait about 15 to 30 minutes before applying my color, my my top coat, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I thought it was going to be another, half hour to an hour type situation, but 15 to 30, that's all I got to wait. All right, it's been over 15 minutes, not quite 30. Time to start putting on my color coat. All right, first coat of the top coat. Looks pretty good. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, so time to put on another coat of my my color. I tell you, that candy coat here, that really comes out quite wet. So you got to really be careful when you're working with it so you don't get runs and stuff like that. But I'm trying to give it a good wet coat so it really covers well, but yeah, it's touch and go. You got to be real careful with it. Okay guys, last coat. Okay, last coat of my color coat is on. Candy coat, whatever you want to call it. Now I gotta wait for 15 to 30 minutes before I can start applying the clear coat. I like this. I'm so glad I went back and I'm redoing this paint job and not just using that stuff that I got from the automotive store. I'm glad I'm doing this. Okay, well that sucked. I went to remove the tape and the paint started kind of peeling up and off of itself. So it kind of looks like shit. Here, I'll show you. So you can see kind of how it's looking. I did spray a little bit of my color coat into a little jar, and I took a paintbrush and just kind of touched up the edge a little bit. But yeah, it's not nearly as nice as I was hoping. I am going to put a clear coat on without worrying about, the rest of the tank. It seems like right now, without the clear coat on it, this might have been a little dark. But again, oh well. Okay guys, it is the next day, and I was pretty upset with the way the paint kind of peeled back when I pulled the tape off, and I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know if you're supposed to pull the paint off or the tape off before the paint dried or after it dried. I didn't know, so I did it kind of in between. Normally the paints were like, wait, what was it, 5 to 10 minutes between coats, and I waited like the 10 minutes and then I pulled the tape off. Maybe I should have waited until it fully cured. I don't know. I kind of thought about it all night long last night, and I think I found a way that I might be able to fix it decently enough to where, it'll look all right. So let me show you what I'm doing. So basically what I'm doing, this is my line, of course. And what I'm doing is I'm going back through with the paints. This is my base coat, spraying just a little bit into a little glass jar, and then I'm actually brushing it on. This is a 3/0. Yeah, that's not going to focus, that's too small. But this is a 3/0 paintbrush. I spray the base coat in here, dip it in, and then I'll just slowly paint it on. I've done one coat of the base coat. I'm going to do a couple more, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the candy coat. Yeah, I think this is going to work. If anything, it'll at least make it look a little better. I might have a decently hard line showing up, but at the same time, it's not going to be that drastic line that I had when I pulled the paint off, or the tape off. So yeah, I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. Okay guys, I got my first candy coat sprayed on into here and got it brushed onto the tank. So let me show you what that first coat looks like. Not too bad. So yeah, after that first coat, I think it's looking pretty decent. I may actually have a chance of making this look not great, not perfect, but good. Okay, so I've finished the touch-up job along the line there. Is it perfect? No. Is it good? Enough, yes. So I'll give you a close-up look at it. Don't yell at me. It looks kind of shitty, but again, about that much of it is going to be covered by a seat. So let's just take a look, all right? So you can see the dark, maybe some spots are a little thicker than others and whatnot, but I think that's going to be good enough. It definitely looks better than it did before I started. So that's really all I can ask of it. So, all right, so I'm actually going to let this sit here and dry a little bit. And I think I got to wait, like 15 to 30 minutes or something like that. Double check my my can here. Yeah, 15 to 30. And then I'll start putting the clear coat on. I'm not going to mask off for the clear coat because when I spray it, it's going to kind of fog a little bit, and that's fine because I don't want that harsh line coming in. So I'm going to primarily stay up here. If other clear coat mists down over the tank, it can do that. I don't care. I did kind of wipe down the tank, try to get as much grit and grime off as possible. I'm going to take that that little wipe pad that they gave me, the wax and grease remover, and I'm going to wipe down the whole tank with that little wipe. And that way, if I get clear coat on here, it'll probably just end up buffing out anyway, but I'll have at least a nice smooth transition from the new stuff up here to the old stuff down here. Okay? Alright guys, got my last coat of clear coat on. Looks pretty decent. Like I said, if you get up to it and look real close, it looks kind of nasty. But farther away, no, it doesn't look too bad. Again, it is darker on the top, but that's the way it is. You can tell where my spray has stopped, and all this is just overspray, so it looks kind of dingy. But now what I want to do is I actually want to let this sit for 48 hours, a full 2 days, to cure up before I do any type of a buff or anything on it. So it's got to just sit. I don't care if my wife doesn't want it on the table, it's got to just sit there. Alright guys, here we are. It's been a couple of days since I've done the clear coat. I waited the full 48 hours. And it actually looks really nice. I'm very happy with it. But now what I want to do is that you can probably see a line that's right here, and it's from where I stopped clear coating, and it's just kind of some overspray mist. And the whole tank has actually got, you can hear that. It shouldn't sound like that. So there's a overspray over everything. But I think that if I use a little bit of a rubbing compound over the entire tank, should basically sand all that off. And then, because this will actually act as a sandpaper, it will leave scratches on the tank, then I'll just take a polish and I'll polish the entire tank. So that's what I want to do right now. Is I got just some very mild soap in a bucket here. And I'm just going to go over the whole tank, make sure that there's no bug guts or dust or anything like that on the tank. Alright. I'm just going to kind of go around and try to wipe off any of the water. My rubbing, it's a rubbing compound, not a buffing compound. I want to get a good amount on here. So there we go, got my rubbing compound on there. Now it is going to be hard for me to see exactly where I stopped spraying on the silver, but I can definitely see it pretty well on the red. So yeah, I can still see a line there, but I'm going to keep on working on it. I think this will do the job. And then once I get the the rubbing compound section done, then I'll take the polish to it. Alright, so this is going to take me a while, guys. I'll come back to you when I'm done. Okay guys, I think I got it pretty good. I mean, as you can tell, you cannot hear it when I'm rubbing on it now. I do see a very, very faint line, like right through here. Sorry. There's like a very, very faint line. Maybe you can pick it up. Maybe you can't. But I'm hoping that the polish now will kind of smooth everything out, give it a nice high gloss shine. All right, time to do that. I lost the top to this bottle a long time ago, so I just used plastic wrap. Okay, they say once you get a little bit on there, they say you put a little bit on the pad, and then you just kind of do that around, and then you turn the machine on. I have no idea how many passes with this I'm going to end up having to do. I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to go get another towel and then I'll buff it off and we'll see what happens. I tell you, the cloth is gliding on it pretty good. A lot of swirl marks and scratchings and stuff like that still. So I'm going to reload the pad and I'm going to go over it again. Do a little work on the sides now. It's not perfect, but it is much better than it was when I first started. All right, I think all I really need to do is just this side and we can call it done. So, next time you'll see me, we'll be putting this on the bike. Okay guys, I'm out in the garage. I'm getting ready to put on the new blue hose. Here's my new hose. It's got the blue stripe on it right there. This is the one that I need to take off. The hose kind of snakes down between the frames here and hooks up to this little modular thing down here. This little unit here is what my hose attaches to, and I believe it's this hose right here that I need to get to get off. Alright, got the hose off. Not the easiest thing to do, but got it off. So yeah, here's my unit. That's where my hose was hooked up to. Oh, well, balls, man. I got it on finally. That's a tight fitting hose, it really is. As you can see, I took my little heat guard off. All these little strappings and stuff like that, they were like digging into my wrist and stuff. I mean, you can maybe see how red my wrist is. I mean, it didn't cut me or anything. I mean, I got some roughed up skin, but that's about it. There's my unit. That was the hose I just put on, right there on the top. I remember those rubber grommets go into these little chambers right here. Alright, let's get the hoses on. we go. All right, got the red one on. All right, got my hoses hooked up. Now those first three are just like vacuum hoses and stuff like that. But now I got to do the gas hose. This one here is the interesting one because I have to push in on those gray tabs here on the sides and then slide it onto that. All right, that's on. All right, now I need to put these grommets into these mounting holes. And I think if you look at it, so you see that one side is thicker than the other side. I believe the thinner side goes up. Now I can go ahead and start putting in my my mounting bolts themselves. All right, getting the gas in. I don't have any of the electronics hooked up yet, but I just want to put the gas in and see if I get any leaks. I'm going to start out with 2 gallons. Okay, got all the gas in. Let's do up these electricals. The 2 go in there. The 3 goes to this one. All right, now this little bundle here, this actually goes to your ignition and it just clips right into there.